So this is a store that I already came to install. Those window designs on it. What's left is I have to finish that one right here, and then put the logo and the store hours here. And we're gonna start with this installation right here. For the installation, I had to remove the audio because there's too much wind. But what I do here is I remove a little bit of the back paper on the top and make sure that one of the side of the windows is aligned. Once I do that, I stick whatever I cut from the top and stick that, and then from then I roll up the design all the way up, and then I'll grab the back paper and slowly pull it down and squeeze the design. And it's good to have two people, because when you're really out there, you don't see, especially on the white, you can't see the air pockets. But my camera guy was helping me, telling me where the air pockets were, so it made it easier for me to know where to squeegee and when to stop. Because if you keep squeegeeing it, it can create a crease if you go a little bit sideways and rip the design. And since it has a lot of holes, it's really fragile and it breaks pretty easy right there. And so I'm already finishing up. I'll make sure there's no air pockets. That's why you're gonna see me get close to the window, make sure there's no pockets in there. Once I do that, I go up and check if there's any excess around the windows. And then what I do is I start cutting the edges and squeegee whatever I left on the edge under the weather strip. And you just gotta be careful not to cut over the weather strip, because if you do, whenever it rains, the water might get in there, leak inside. So just be careful, be patient, and make sure you cut on the side of the weather strip, not on it. And then after that, just remove the excess, just peel it off, and that's the finished product of the installation. And I feel like it went pretty smooth, easy, and that's the same process I did on the rest of the other windows that I had already installed, the ones on the top and the bottom. The bottom ones were a little bit more difficult because you're on the floor, but it's the same process. And right now I'm gonna show you how to do the install for the logo and the store hours in the storefront door in a bit. For the store front door, what I do is I usually get the measurement from my design, and I divide it by 2 to get the middle of it. And then if you can see me right there, I'm making some calculations on my phone. But after I get it, what I do is I remeasure it again and then get the actual size of the middle of the design. And then from there, I also grab the measurement from the door, and then get the center, get the whole measurement so I could get the center of the door too. And once I do get it, I just place a little dot on the window so I don't have to make it obvious that I painted it or use Sharpie, because it will be easier to clean up. Once I do that, I remove my logo, I unstick it with those 2 tapes that I have on the side, and then I just center it. And that's just so I could have it centered right in the middle of the window. It's even on each other side. And now I go grab my level. So for the level is just to make sure it doesn't go crooked. And what you're gonna see me right now is you're gonna see me unsticking the tape from one side. That reason is so I could move it up or down, and I'll move it till it gets even and it's in the middle. That little bubble from the level is in the middle, and make sure it don't look crooked once I install it. So right here, what I'm gonna do, now that's aligned, centered, and what I do is that you see that tape, I usually don't take it off, because it's gonna help me. You'll see right now in a bit how it's gonna help me. Just make sure whenever you're peeling off your decal to be careful, because sometimes that transfer tape, you gotta make sure when you buy one, there's ones that are called strong adhesive, or there's some that are like low adhesive, and you gotta make sure because if you just peel it off, you might rip the decal because it's still on that back paper, or like it might just come off, and then when you try to stick it back on the transfer tape, it's gonna stretch, and then once you apply it, you're gonna have air pockets and stuff. But just be careful. And what I do is I remove all that. I pull it back all the way to the blue tape, and then you're gonna see that cutter that I showed you on my last video. You could buy one. There's fancy ones, but I bought this one at Walmart. It's a letter opener. It costs like 97 cents. But it's easy to help you cut the back paper. So now right here you gotta be careful, because make sure when you pull your transfer tape that you don't go sideways, because once you squeegee it and you have it a little bit tilted and you squeegee it, you're gonna go crooked. So just make sure, just look at your paper. That tape, you don't really have to put it there. I just put it, I've been doing it for years, but I just do that for extra protection. But your decal's already on, so it shouldn't move as much. But the same way over here, when you're removing the back paper, I remove it from the middle out, and I still do the same. I still be careful, because sometimes it sticks to the back paper and not to the transfer. And so right here is kind of windy, but just make sure you don't see any movement on your tape, and once you do, you just go ahead and squeegee it down. And once I do that, I pass the squeegee a couple times, a little bit harder, than just so I could remove any air bubbles that might be there. There's different installations. There's some that are wet applications, and there's some dry applications, which is the one I'm doing. The wet application works more like on summertime when it's hot. And what that does is that you could spray water in the back with a little bit of soap, and you could stick your design and you could move it around. It gives you a little time to align your stuff, and then once you do it, you just squish it down the water and the decal stays there. But right here, you got to be careful when you're removing the transfer paper. Don't pull it, always slide it down and remove it, because if you pull it, you have chances of creating air bubbles, and sometimes the decal might not stick, and then you just pull it off. And you see this font, everything's connected, and you rip it. Once you try to put it back, you might not align it, or you'll see that rip on it. So now I'm gonna do the store hours, and you're gonna see me that don't be afraid of using more tape, because my mistake here is that I was trying to use the same tape I used, but for some reason I got it dirty and it's not gonna stick. And right now you're gonna see the whole decal fall on the floor. And what I'm gonna do, since that long tape that I used for the logo is not long enough to go across the whole design, I'm just gonna reuse that and grab it and just cut some so I could have it on both sides of the window of the decal, and then just place it. And you just gotta make sure you have enough tape to stick it, because that's the most important thing. That tape is for, so see how windy it is, so it won't move, especially right now that it's super windy. But right now I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna get to the middle of my decal design. I'm gonna take out my phone. I'm not good at math, so I just gotta divide by 2, whatever the measurement I got, divided by 2. And so since I already got the size of that door, I'm gonna do another dot on the middle of the door, and then do the same thing with that window decal. just align it in the middle. Get it ready so I could start installing it. And in a bit I'm gonna grab my level to start making sure it's not crooked. So now, like I said, I was gonna grab my level and like everything else, make sure, since everything's already centered, now I'm gonna make sure everything it's level, not crooked going one side. The good thing about this design, it has a border aligner, so I have a straight line to grab onto and get the measurement. Sometimes when I don't got something like that, I'll get the closest letters that are similar height, and that's what I do to get my level. Right there, what I'm doing right there is I'm putting extra tape because I cut those side tapes too short. But everything's gonna be the same process. Right now, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna grab a long tape and place it right in the middle. A lot of people tell me, is that the only way you can install it, side from like left to right? And no, it all depends on how you feel more comfortable. Some people do it from up and all the way to the bottom, but I feel like it's easier this way, where I peel it from the left first. And like I said, just be careful that when you peel the transfer tape, make sure you go slow, be patient so you don't have to catch on. Make sure the decals don't stick on that back paper. And then what I do is, like I said, I cut the middle part of the back paper and remove it. That cutter tool makes everything easier, because it's good, because when like for a window you can't really tell if you use a knife and cut it, but when it comes to cars you really don't want to scratch those cars, so that cutting knife helps good, and not to scratch any objects. So right there, what I'm doing, I'm just squeezing the letters slowly. Like I said, make sure everything goes straight. I re-squeegee it. And like I said, once again, you don't have to put that. Once you only use that tape in the middle the first time, just so you could do what I did. I peeled half of it and then peeled the other half, but I just do that for extra security. And like I said, now peel it from the middle out, and just be careful that nothing comes or sticks to that back paper. now once you remove it, right now it was pretty windy, and that would have affected my installation, but you just gotta make sure you go with how the transfer tape is. If you see it's going one way, squishy it that way, and just be patient. Don't be nervous. There's things that is gonna make your install difficult, but if you're just patient and think how to do it, everything's gonna go good. Now that I installed it, like I said, I always re-squeegee it again, just so I can make sure everything's on there, so when I take out the transfer tape, nothing stays on the transfer tape. And like I said, don't pull it, always peel it and slide it down, so you won't create those air pockets, and don't have a chance of like for the decals to come on to the transfer tape. But that's how that process is on installing decals on the windows. Nothing too hard, just patience. That's all it takes, patience. And right now you're gonna see me putting Windex. I don't really recommend once you put a freshly install, because if you really didn't install something good, that Windex might affect the adhesive from the back. But I make sure everything was squeezed on, and if you see me, I sprayed it from far away, and just to have a little drizzle on the window, and I carefully started cleaning around and on top of the decal. I just make sure that there was no openings, because if there's an opening, the decal could grab onto the towel and the decal just comes on with the towel. So just be careful. I usually tell the customers to don't clean it for like 2 days so that the sun and the heat could really activate the adhesive and make it stick on there. Once 2 days pass, it's not going anywhere. So this is the end product, and I'm just gonna check if there's any air bubbles, which there wasn't. And I'm really thankful for this customer because she's been really patient for me. I've been taking a little bit on this project, but it was a fun project to work on. This is what made me want to do these YouTube videos. I hope y'all like this video. Hope y'all support my channel, and I'll make more coming soon. And like I said, I hope y'all like it. Thank you.